Hi everyone, Xena here. So I'm currently overseas taking a bit of a holiday in the United States. I'll be gone for about 3 weeks, so what I've done is I've actually pre-recorded a few videos in my absence just to ensure that there's always a video coming out every week. You'll know that I'm back because the first video that I will do when I come back will be a massive haul because US is the best when it comes to buying makeup, and so I cannot wait to go mental there. So in the meantime, what I wanted to do was I've had a couple of requests in the past to do tutorials on the what brushes are important when it comes to doing eye makeup. So that is the tutorial that I'll be doing today, and I'm going to be covering the top 5 brushes that I use when doing my eyes for eyeshadow. These are the 5 brushes that no matter where I go I cannot live without, basically. Let's just talk about the good old eyeshadow brush first. So that's this brush right here. So this brush comes in all different shapes and sizes. You know, it comes with sort of like thinner heads, thicker heads, like higher heads and lower heads, but essentially the one thing that all of these brushes have in common, or these eyeshadow flat brushes have in common, is that they are quite flat and they are used predominantly for packing eyeshadow onto the lid. I always try and keep at least sort of, I guess, 3 or 4 in my kit at any one time, because what I try and do is not to mix the colours. Usually when I'm doing an eyeshadow look, I might use anywhere between 3 and 6 colours, and even if I'm doing like the look that I'm at the moment is essentially just browns with a little bit of blue. But I've used 4 different browns, in which case, you know, I've had to use different brushes for those browns. Nowhere is it written that you can't use the same brush, you know, and dip it in different colours. That's totally fine, but just my personal preference and what I find easy for me is to use a separate brush for every colour that I use, just because it's easier for blending, and you know, it ensures that your colours don't get too mixed up when you go to apply it. And out of all of the 5 brushes, if I had to choose a top one, this would definitely be it. Moving on to my number 2 brush. So the number 2 brush is a fluffy brush or a blending brush, and that looks like this. So as you can see, how that differs from the eyeshadow brush is that the bristles are a lot longer. They're a lot longer and they're a lot, I guess, fluffier really. So it's a lot more sparse and a lot more fluffy. And the purpose of this brush is to blend, really quite simply. This is a blending brush. This brush also comes in all different sizes, but the main point of a blending brush, it's always going to have like be thinner down the bottom and fatter up the top. Whenever you put eyeshadow on, you want to always make sure there's never a harsh line. So all this brush does is that it blurs those harsh lines out so that you have a nice smoked out look. This is definitely my number 2 brush that I cannot live without, and that is the fluffy brush. Brush number 3. This is called a pencil brush. This one is dirty, sorry, I've just used it for this look that I've just done, so that's why I haven't cleaned it. And pencil brush is absolutely fantastic for getting anywhere in those little small corners, you know, in the crease, in the outer V, in the inner V. And what this does, it gives your eye definition, so you use your eyeshadow to define the eye with this. So for example, say I'm wearing just nude colours. What you want to deepen your eye and give the eyeshadow some dimension. So I would dip this into, say, a darker colour, and I would run that just along my crease up here, just to deepen that crease. And then I would also run it in the outer V just here, once again, just to add some colour and to really deepen that colour and to give that eyeshadow some dimension. I would also use this pencil brush for doing under eye colours. It's fantastic to because it's a nice small brush to blend out the colour underneath. So yeah, this is a fantastic brush, a pencil brush. It's a much more compact brush than the fluffy brush, so the bristles are a lot closer together and a lot more dense, so that you can, you know, really use that to concentrate the eyeshadow and keep the eyeshadow quite heavy. The 4th brush that I use and that I can't live without, and this one is called a smudge brush. It's just a little brush like this, so it's great for someone like me who does have small eyes. But what it's fantastic for, it's fantastic for doing the inner corner highlight right there, because it gets right in there. The bristles, once again, are really dense and close together, so you get perfect control of applying the colour. It's also used to apply colour underneath the eye, so I would almost put, say, a darker colour right underneath the lash line first, and then use the pencil brush afterwards to smudge out the colour and to blend it out. The other thing that this is good for is applying small splashes of colour into your look. So for example, say I've got a black smoky eye with just a small sort of pop of pink in here, or you know, like a bright purple or a bright blue, or you know, just adding that little bit of colour. this is perfect for doing that, because it's small enough, it allows you to do like a nice detailed look, really pack on that color and really control where that color goes. So it's a really good brush. And finally, the fifth brush that I can't live without is, this is called a large fluff brush, but essentially it's the brush that I use for my brow bone. And what this is fantastic for is applying highlighter underneath the eyebrow. And it's fantastic because A, it's a big size, and B, even once you've sort of blended out your color, you know, and you have blended out that harsh line and you are ready to go in with that highlighter color, because of the large size and because of the fact that, you know, the bristles are so, you know, dense but still long enough so that they're fluffy enough, what it does is it just ensures that when you do apply that highlighter, that blends that color below the highlighter as well. So it's that perfect finishing touch brush for when you're putting on your your highlighter, and just ensuring that everything is blended out properly. It just ties the look all together beautifully. And yeah, I often find that this brush is fantastic for fixing mistakes as well. So say I've gone too high with my, you know, with my smoky brown or my black, and I'm going, oh my god, okay, how do I get it off now? So when you go to put your highlighter on, you can really get in there and really just erase that color, blend it out, and have a beautiful phasing out of color into your highlighter color, which then phases out into your eyebrow and just finishes off the look very nicely. So yeah, definitely my number 5 brush that I can't live without. So those 5 brushes that I've just discussed. But yeah, definitely you'll find that eyeshadow is much easier to apply when you have the right tools. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. As always, if you have any requests for a look, or if you'd like further information on how to use brushes or any other sort of makeup components, please feel free to leave me a comment below and I'll be more than happy to come back to you. That's it for now. I will see you next week with my new video, and yeah, I'll see you then. Bye for now.